Hey everyone, Len and Kelly here. This is our wrap-up video of all of our favourite photos. At the end, we're going to come back and do a debrief of our whole trip for you.
Winter getting colder, summer getting warmer, tidal wave come across the Mexican border. Wide by gallon, it's cheaper by the barrel, just don't get busted singing Christmas carols. That's us, that's right, gotta love this American ride. Both ends of the ozone burning, funny how the world keeps turning. Look, mom, no hands, I love this American ride. Off watching Desperate Housewife, Daddy works his ass off paying for the good life. Kids on the YouTube learning how to be cool, living in a cruel world pays to be a mean girl. That's us, that's right, gotta love this American ride. Both ends of the ozone burning, funny how the world keeps turning. Look, mom, no hands, I love this American ride. America's down, she gained 5 pounds and lost her crown. Quick fix, plastic, surgical antidotes, got herself a record deal, can't even sing a note. Plasma getting bigger, Jesus getting smaller, spill a cup of coffee, make $1 million. Customs got a thug with an aerosol can, if the shoe don't fit, the fit's gonna hit the shame. That's us, that's right, gotta love this American ride. Both ends of the ozone burning, funny how the world keeps turning. Hot dog, hot damn, I love this American ride. Oh yeah, gotta love this American ride. Oh yeah, gotta love this American ride.
Let's ride. So that was all of our favourite photos. There's a lot of good memories there. So on our trip all up, we did 9,482 kilometres, which covered 10 states and 7 national parks and a few state parks, as well as 4 national monuments. So it was a long trip.
24 days.
24 days, but a lot of fun. So my favourite day was the Beartooth Pass, and that was because of the technical nature of the ride, as well as the wildness of the landscape and the absolutely spectacular scenery. What was your favourite day?
I love the Beartooth Pass as well. We stopped halfway up and got to play with some chipmunks. The scenery is just so vast and wild. It's just phenomenal. People describe it as magnificent, and it truly is just absolutely mind-blowing. But also I loved, so that was on day 7. I also loved 2 other days. I found it really hard to pick a favourite day. My other favourite day was Yellowstone, which was day 9. Those thermal pools, the colour and the animals. We saw bison. The bison came right up to the side of the road. We were staring at them. We didn't see any bears.
No bears.
But we saw a lot of wildlife, big herds of bison, which was amazing. But then I also loved Zion National Park as well. So that was at the very tail end of our trip. That's like day 23 and 24. Have a look at that video as we're riding through the tunnel. Again, these structures, when the Americans want to do something big, they'll do it really big. It's very simple. There's no lights on the inside of the tunnel, so you're told before you go in to sunglasses off, headlights on. And as you're riding through, there's cutouts on the side of the mountain where you look through and the vista is to the next mountains. It was just stunning. When you come out the other end, it's just all in front of you. It was huge. Magnificent. So it was hard for me to pick a favourite day. I had several.
Yeah, one of my other favourite rides was the going to the sun ride up the glacier. The only downside of that ride, it was very heavy with tourists, so we couldn't do the ride with a lot of ease. It was pretty congested, but still absolutely spectacular.
Popular for a reason.
So riding for 24 days, I think we finally found something that we really enjoyed doing, and that's long distance touring on the motorbike, and something that we're going to do a lot more of. And we learned a lot on the road about how we like to ride, things we like about doing it, things we don't like about doing it, things we would change. We really want to, when we do more long distance touring, we really want to get up early, get cracking, get the ride done, enjoy the ride, but then also have time to enjoy the places that we want to stop in and see, and spend a little bit more time.
Len did a lot of research before we went, about 18 months of constantly watching YouTube videos and seeing where other people have gone and other tips. And this is where you learn, wasn't it the day we went to Mount Rushmore to go a particular way? You got the view of Mount Rushmore as you were going through those tunnels, whereas if we hadn't watched those videos, we may have come through the other way and sort of missed that vista. So a lot of research went into our trip.
Yeah, so, but again, we just the ability to and have the time to be able to stop. We had to compromise a lot on our trip. Between getting to the places we wanted to see and stopping and enjoying the trip along the way. So that's probably something we'll do differently, in that we'll try and have the best of both worlds, where we get to where we need to get to, but also have time to explore a little bit. So, yeah, that was good. So as you would have seen on the trip, we went with some of our friends, Mark and Laurel, Brad and Jane, Marty and Sarah, and it was really good going going with our friends. It presented some challenges, but on the whole, it was a good experience.
Yeah.
Everyone seemed to chip in and do different things. So,
Yeah.
Mark and Laurel, there's a big shout out to them. Because of the bikes we had didn't have updated nav, and Mark's did. Mark effectively did all the navigation throughout the whole trip. So a really big shout out to you, Tug, and thanks for doing that.
And Brad and Jane chose to not ride the bike. They chose to hire a car for the trip, and which was huge benefit to all of us, because we were able to keep our suitcases in the car, and we weren't fully reliant on taking everything that we needed for the whole 24 days more on the bikes. And so that also gave us the opportunity to keep an esky in the back, filled up with ice all the time, cold drinks and beers and some snacks as well, which was a massive benefit, wasn't it?
It was. And then the car also allowed us to go out at night, and go to a few bars and have a designated driver drive everyone home, rather than
normally Len
riding the bikes at night, which was certainly out in South Dakota and Wyoming and Montana was pretty dangerous with wildlife. So big shout out to Brad and Jane for hauling our stuff around. So that was really good.
It was huge benefit. So do you want to look at the costs then?
Yeah, well, it was an expensive trip, as we expected and we budgeted for, and we actually came in under budget for a few different reasons. But 24-day bike hire, it was $11,000, and that was the biggest part of our trip, the biggest cost of our trip. So a couple of things there, in that if you're going to the States during July and August, you're going to be paying more. That's peak holiday time over there, and over and above the peak holiday time for motorcycles, you're also paying the Sturgis tax, and we certainly paid that. As I said, $11,000, and that's with about a 10% discount, because we hired hired 2 bikes and we hired them early. So
how early? 12 months or more?
12 months, yeah. 12 months when we booked our airfares. The other big cost was accommodation, and we booked a lot of that early. So on the earlier you book, if you are going to go to Sturgis or around there, the earlier you book your B&Bs, the cheaper it's going to be. So
they were still expensive.
The B&B was $6,000.
Yeah, I think that was the
$6,000 for a week, but that was between 4 of us, so it wasn't too bad at the end. But the same level of accommodation, if you would have booked a month out of Sturgis, was easily in the $30,000 mark. So if you're going to Sturgis, book early, and get organised.
Be prepared for a little bit of a drive. So our B&B was actually closer to Lead, so it's even past Deadwood. So we had to do a bit of a drive every day, but it was worthwhile, because then the other days where we weren't going into Sturgis and we were doing the rides to Mount Rushmore, we had a head start to those other rides. But be prepared to maybe not stay in Sturgis, look out a little bit. Fuel. So what I did with the fuel, we had a separate bank account with its own little debit MasterCard, because when you go to pay for the fuel in the States, sometimes you have to pre-authorise your fuel at the Bowser. Other times you have to prepay for, say, $30 of fuel inside. Then you go out, you fill up your bike, and whatever you don't use gets credited back into your account. And so we could have a bit of a budget and keep an eye on what we were spending on for fuel. We just had that one little account with about 800 Aussie dollars in there, and we figured that that's pretty much what the fuel cost was over the time.
Yeah, we actually budgeted for $1,200 Australian for fuel, and it came in at about 850
so we were
Australian dollars. Yep, and that was because the oil price was down. So the average price of fuel over there was $3 US a gallon. So it works out roughly about less than $1 a litre Australian. So fuel was reasonably cheap. The other big cost was accommodation on the road and food.
Yeah.
So we didn't pre-book any accommodation in Australia on the road. We did that as we went.
Only the Airbnbs we pre-did, but
yeah, there's plenty of good accommodation in the US that's relatively cheap.
Super 8s are good.
Super 8s, they're roughly $100 US, which is about 150, 160 Australian. So
comes with a free breakfast normally as well.
During the peak holiday time, that's about as good as you're going to get.
Yeah. It's good basic accommodation. There's nothing fancy. I wouldn't say it's 5-star, but we were certainly comfortable in all those places. And sometimes in the hotter areas we had swimming pools. So that's fuel, accommodation. Food was another expensive item, although the size of the servings in America, Kelly and I got to share most of our meals, so they didn't end up too bad, but food is relatively expensive over there once you start adding on all the gratuities and state taxes. Except for beer. Beer is cheap.
Is cheaper than water.
Water is 3 times the price of a beer, wasn't it?
Yeah, beer is ridiculously cheap. So so that's good.
And you just buy it at the service station. Oh, I'll pay for my fuel and I'll get a 6-pack of beers to go.
So I would definitely plan and have a budget and stick to it, and that way the spending doesn't get too out of control. The Sturgis itself was unbelievable, and if you're a biker, I'd 100% recommend that you try and make the effort to get to Sturgis. It's absolutely incredible. The things we saw, the bikes, just the number of bikes was just amazing.
Oh, how about when we went to, where was the Harley Davidson place?
Black Hills Harley Davidson.
Oh my God, it was massive. The car park there would have been, it felt like it was the size of the MCG nearly, wasn't it? And it was packed with bikes. There would have been thousands of bikes there, and so many tents and stalls and displays. If you do go to Sturgis, you have to, I think, make a point of going to Black Hills Harley on one of the days and spend some time there. That was massive. But also get out of Sturgis too. One of the nicest places we went to was the Spur
Creek Hotel, or Spur Creek Saloon.
Spur Creek. It's on one of the last videos of Sturgis itself. And talked to strangers. We met some lovely people by just sitting down. We couldn't find a table to sit at, so there was a couple sitting at a big round table, and we asked if we could join them, sat down and enjoyed them. And we've made some lifelong friends, haven't we?
Shout out to Tanya and Mike up in Michigan.
Yeah.
I know Mark and Laurel will be seeing you next year at Sturgis, and hopefully we'll see you again as well.
Yeah, that was fun when we went to the saloon, because it's not a place we would have probably gone to except for their recommendation. They took us out there for a ride, and we were talking to the owner, and it was just something special, wasn't it, seeing how he ran his property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's roughly a wrap up of everything we did, and our highlights and some planning tips if you're heading over there. And now we'll go over the map that we've managed to trace out, and then we'll come back with some more news. So here's a summary of the trip. We mapped it out on our big map here. So we landed in LA and we hired the bikes. We went up the Ventura Highway along the Pacific coast, and then we hooked inland, and you would have seen the photos around Ojai. And then we did the Sequoia National Park. We tried to do Yosemite, but we couldn't do that.
Talk about that a bit more. What happens at Yosemite?
So during the school holidays and what have you, you have to book in advance, and you'd probably have to book about a week in advance. So we didn't realise that. We got to the gate and got turned around, so we had to make some detours.
Which turned out okay.
So from there, we went up, instead of going to Yosemite, went through the Sonora Pass. And this is the Sonora Pass all around here. Then we hooked into Nevada. And then we stayed at a town, a military base town. Can't remember what that was called now, but From there, we went through the Nevada desert. We did all this in one day until we got to into Utah.
Just before Salt Lake City.
Just before Salt Lake City, and that's where West Wendover, where we stayed, which is right next to the Bonneville Salt Flats, which you can see on one of the videos. Then we went through Salt Lake City, where Mark's Harley broke down and he had to get it fixed. I didn't see any Indians broken down, but that's another video. We then hooked up, from there we hooked up into Wyoming, briefly into Idaho, and up to Alpine. We checked out Jackson Hole there at the same time, which was
stunning.
Then we got some intel from a local who told us to come around this road here on our way to Red Lodge and the Beartooth Pass. And this was up here to Red Lodge. We did the Beartooth Pass, which is through this mountain range here. And then from the Beartooth Pass, we made our way into West Yellowstone, where our B&B was. We spent 3 days, and this little area here is all the routes around the Yellowstone National Park that we did. So from there, we weren't quite sure what we were going to do, so we decided, depending on the weather, we really wanted to do the Going to the Sun ride in the Glacier National Park, and the weather forecast was good, so we decided to hook up all the way up through Montana, almost up to the Canadian border, where we also found out that to get into the Glacier National Park, you also had to book, which we didn't realise. But we found a way around. Instead of going into the glacier from here and doing the Glacier National Park from there, we could come all the way around here, the back way, if you like, to the end of the Going to the Sun ride, and then we did the Going to the Sun ride coming down it this way, and then we came all the way back. We tried to get to the Canadian border, and Brad and Jane in the car actually made it to the Canadian border, but a massive thunderstorm prevented those on the bikes from getting to the Canadian border. So I think we were 10 miles short of the Canadian border. From there, we went into an Indian reservation and we stayed the night at Browning. And that's another story with
interesting
accommodation. And then it was it was pretty much non-stop then until we got to Sturgis. So it was a couple of nights. It took us a couple of nights to get to Sturgis. So back down through Montana into the plains of Montana. So we're out of the mountains into the plains. And then we made our way into South Dakota, where we spent 6 nights attending the Sturgis Rally. And you can see here, these are all the different rides we did. The Iron Mountain Road, which led to Mount Rushmore. We did the Needles Highway. We did the Spearfish Canyon ride. We saw a lot of fantastic country all through South Dakota. It was amazing, which was the main part of our trip. And then we started our trip effectively home. So we hooked back into Wyoming. Again, these are all plains now. There was no mountains as we left South Dakota. We left all the mountains behind into the plains in Wyoming. Again, you can see that on the video. And then we made it down to Fort Collins. And this is where Mark and Laurel had to leave us. So from Fort Collins, we made our way through Denver, all the way through Colorado, and we did the $1 Million Highway. They say it cost $1 million a kilometre, and that was back in the 40s or 50s when the road was taken. Another spectacular road. And then we came out of the mountains into the plains of Colorado, and then into the desert of New Mexico and Arizona. We stopped at the Four Corners Monument and stood in all 4 states, so Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona. And then from there, it was a couple of nights as we made our way back into Las Vegas. And then from Las Vegas, Kelly and I flew back to Los Angeles. We handed the bikes back in Las Vegas. We flew to Los Angeles, and then we flew home.
I've just had another thought too. I'm actually thinking another one of my favourite rides, my favourite days, was when we went through Zion National Park. On one of the last videos you'll see as we came through that tunnel, it was just phenomenal. It was just absolute magic. So 2 favourite days for me. I can't pick one.
Yep. Okie doke. And then some news.
Yeah.
Some new news is that we're going back in 2027, roughly around...
Down this way.
Roughly around a bit later, probably around August, so we catch hopefully catch some football and some baseball. And we're going to fly into Chicago. We're going to come down through Indiana. And then the main part of our trip is going to be Kentucky and Tennessee. And we're going to be doing all of the bourbon distilleries, and there's some key rides we want to do here. Tail of the Dragon and the Moonshine runs that we want to do. That are quite technical rides. Perhaps not as spectacular scenery as what we saw, but fantastic roads all through there. From there, we're going to come down into Alabama, make our way across Mississippi into Louisiana. We'll probably spend a couple of nights in New Orleans, which is a bit of a bucket list, and make our way over to Texas, into Dallas, and we'll fly home. So we'll probably be over there for another month. Probably not on the bikes all the time, but certainly in this area we'll be on the bikes, and then the car on the rest of it. Mm-hmm. So we're looking forward to seeing our friends Bob and Becky up at Benton Harbour. So looking forward to seeing you guys
over there, aren't they?
Yeah.
There. Oh yeah. Yep.
And so yeah, we'll stay there a couple of nights. Hopefully catch a Bears game, maybe a Notre Dame game.
This was our 2019 trip. So we're going to be colouring in a lot more of the map next time too.
And yeah, that once we've done this, as I said, we've already done all this area. We've done this area. Here is all not much to see. All that's all plains, and so that will do us for America.
Although when you look at South Dakota, this part that we had here, that was some of the best riding and the best scenery, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We often said South Dakota was one of the prettiest states, and so is Wyoming. Wyoming was just stunning.
So that's our trip. I hope you enjoyed watching the videos. Kelly and I, more so Kelly, certainly enjoyed making them. There's some good memories there. And so now it's about where to from here. So hopefully, maybe, we don't know, but might be a new bike on the horizon. As we said before, we really enjoyed the long distance touring, and it's something that we want to do together a lot more. So we're going to be planning to do some trips. A trip to Tasmania at some stage, perhaps not next year, maybe the year after. We're planning a trip up to Sydney via the Coast Road, coming back down through the Blue Mountains and then into the New South Wales Victorian High Country, and then back into Melbourne. And then if we do get the new bike, then we'll want to do a trip from Melbourne all the way up to Port Douglas and back.
It's either that one or we go to Perth and
cross the Nullarbor.
I have never been to Western Australia.
And maybe even a trip up to Ayers Rock. So
yeah.
Keep watching, and hopefully some good rides to come.